Jonathan Davies, I've spoken to your BBC colleagues, Mr Gaskett and Mr Inverdale. We're all in fair agreement that it is going to be a ridiculously open tournament this year.
Yeah, I think so. With Ireland being very understated this year, to the opener in Cardiff, the injuries have played its part with England and Wales. France, very strong in the Heineken Cup, but who knows what their selection will be. And I think Scotland. I think Scotland shown in the autumn test that they're capable of matching anyone. So Italy are still a little bit behind, I think, because they haven't got the maybe the backs to match their forwards. But yes, I still think that it's going to be a very, very intriguing championship.
The first Friday night game in Cardiff between England and Wales. Your colleagues are sat on either side of the fence, I think. Obviously, being the Welshman, then you're going to go for the boys in red, I'm assuming. But do you think Warren Gatland's got what it takes to beat England in the Millennium?
The thing is with Wales, they've haven't won many games. They've shown what they can do. They create a lot, but unfortunately, for some reason, they just haven't crossed that line and turned the pressure into points. They have to do that. And England on a Friday night to start would be the appropriate time to do it. I just think that we've got injuries in the front row, which I think how they adapt to that, because I think England will really attack the Welsh scrum, and how we adapt. We'll have a huge outcome on the game. But yeah, we've got Jamie Roberts back. Hook. Stephen Jones is back. Warburton, Bradley Davis and Alan Wynne-Jones and Matthew Rees are playing well. It's just Paul James will go well, but it's it's just that scrum. So if we can have parity in the scrum, I don't see why we can't beat them. But they'll come to town very confident on that. But it's a very, very close thing to call. Maybe with the injuries in the front row. No, I might just start as with England being favourites, but it's just too close to call.
England will have injuries in their back row, of course, and they've drafted various players into the squad. Are there any of those that you think should get a starting berth, but perhaps Martin Johnson would think differently?
Again, it's about confidence, and young Wood is playing well. I think Easter will have a significant part to play. The line out of Croft has gone, and Lewis Moody won't play. But I think he'll bring. He'll have to look at balance. Will Fury play? Or is he injured or not? It's going to be interesting. But I think it's a he will pick a balance. I don't think he has any doubt that they're good enough to play, because otherwise he wouldn't have called them in the squad as cover. It's just getting that balance right in the back row, because I think they'll have a good platform.
Now, with the other sides in the tournament, obviously Ireland are going to be at the Aviva Stadium, and they're going to be filling that, we hope, for the first time after the debacle of the autumn. Any thoughts on that?
Well, they play England and France at home. They'll see those great opportunities to get results there. But also, then they think they're capable of beating Wales, Italy, and Scotland on the road. They've always had difficult, games in Cardiff and in Edinburgh. But turn up, they're capable of doing it. So they've played it down this year. It's World Cup year, and I remember the last World Cup they had huge ambitions of doing well, and unfortunately they didn't play that great. So this year, I think with Leinster going well, confidence is high, and they've been very, very understated, which is always a good sign for the Irish.
John Inverdale's very keen to suggest that he thinks it's going to be an Irish romp this year. Mark Lee Avermont on the French side of things, I mean, classic, who knows which French side's going to turn up, but he seems to be a little bit more philosophical this year, maybe a little bit less of the French Gallic shrug and the arrogance. He seems to believe that they've got more to prove to the French media and to the fans and even to themselves. It's
a big year for the French because, they've always done particularly well in the World Cup, but I think World Cup year, your tinkering's done. You have to pick a side which you think is going to take you through and capable of winning the World Cup. You don't want to be throwing a centre in or a second row in. In the World Cup, not knowing what he can do. He shouldn't. The tinkering that he's done in previous seasons, he should know who his best 15 and who his best 22, 23 are. So now it's a question of putting the right team out, getting continuity, getting performance, and getting confidence. Because if France play with confidence, they can beat anyone in the world.
Now, I happened to spot earlier Andy Robinson coming into the media session to do some interviews and had a little quiet word with you about when are you going to get your coaching getting underway. Any thoughts on that?
Well, you know, it's one of those things. I've never said never to coaching. You know, if the opportunity came and the right position, maybe as a technical coach or you know, something like that. You know, I would like, you know, maybe I'd think about it. But at the moment, every time I see him, he goes, "Come on, when are you going to coach? When are you going to help me coach? When are you going to help me coach?" It would be great, you know, to have some kind of input. But you know, if the time is right, who knows?
Surely on the international circuit, there wouldn't be a single person in Wales who'd let you go anywhere other than there.
Yeah, well, you know, it's you know, we'll see what happens.
Are the feet itchy?
Yeah. I've never coached, you know, so that's the thing. You know, I've looked at it, and maybe, you know, it wouldn't be, you know, I'd have a little bit of input somewhere along the way, but it's just finding where I can help. But yeah, you never know. Before, you know, time runs out, maybe I'll take the dive and do a little bit.
Well, I think all of your views are always appreciated by whoever hears them. Jonathan Davies, thanks very much.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Cheers.